What's up, everybody? Good morning, and at last we're breaking down Valentina Shevchenko. Now in here we're going to look at 3 fights that she fought. We're going to look at her first fight with Amanda Nunes way back then. We're also going to look at her fight with Jessica Andrade, where you see a massive change in her growth, and the one where she had the most takedowns, the most time when she first started to show off her grappling skills was her fight against Joanna. I'm not going to say her last name because I don't know how to. But those are the 3 fights we're going to look at, guys. Let's get into it. Stay tuned to the end of the video so you can see what's going to happen next time on the Let's Talk episodes as well. And also, there's going to be a question at the end of the video. I want you to answer that question in the comments. Thanks for watching. Without further ado, let's get into it. Alright guys, here we go. So first we're going to look at Valentina Shevchenko versus Amanda Nunes. This is the 3rd round of their first match. And just going from here, you can see in their stance, Shevchenko is close to the center of the octagon and Nunes is on the outside. So if we go here frame by frame, speed up a little bit for y'all. Shevchenko likes to use a lot of counter strikes and counter wrestling. I know that. So boom. Shevchenko steps in with that big overhand left. Nunes goes down, and you can look at her hand positioning. You see where her hand is. Her hand's right about where Shevchenko's knee is. And most of Shevchenko's weight is on top of that knee. So Nunes grabs, gets the thigh, gets behind the other knee, and look what Shevchenko does. Shevchenko grabs an overhook with her right hand underneath Amanda's arm. Now this takes away some of the power from you. It's hard to move your arms backwards to finish that takedown. Nunes' mistake that she made right here was her foot positioning. She grabbed, but she didn't have her feet driving into her opponent. You got to do that as well. So Shevchenko uses some of the momentum, turns to the side, and look at where her left hand is, controlling the bicep. Nunes was able to get the left leg a little more solidly, but Shevchenko still has that underhook on that side, so she doesn't have it as tight as she wants to. But over here, she has no control over Shevchenko's left side. Shevchenko is using the force of Nunes driving forward in this direction to push her down against her. She turns, and with that underhook she has, boom, lets a knee loose. So from there, boom, she starts attacking with the elbows. Again, look, she's still holding on to that sort of whizzer overhook over here on this side. Keeps the hand posturing, and Nunes steps out with her foot to tip to trip. Shevchenko takes a back step, maintains her balance, puts the pressure up with her left hand over her face, and it's she who scored the takedown. She reversed that position very nicely. And now, from here, we see her do something that she starts doing a lot more of later on. She starts fighting for that top control, and from here, she starts to rain down her elbows. So let's go forward a little bit. Now from this position, she kept scooting away from Nunes' legs so Nunes can reverse the position and be able to flip her over. Still going. So now she starts attacking with punches, and what she's going to do next is she's going to take this hand from Nunes, and she's going to push it underneath her leg. So now she has control. Now she's right now she's in a pretty good position. But the difference right here is she's not actually in the full crucifix position, so she can't dominate from here like she will learn to later on. But this is very good. You know, this is earlier Shevchenko. She's gotten much better than she is now. I just wanted to show you some of her early work against one of her fights against Nunes. Nunes winds up escaping. All right, now here we have Valentina Shevchenko against Andrade. It's the first round. Come out, and Shevchenko, you know, she's keeping the center of the octagon again. She doesn't have her back to the cage. She's pressuring Andrade in this fight. Shevchenko is keeping her distance, She's being very patient, and she's timing everything. She's reading timing is what she's doing. When she's in the early round, she's reading the timing of her opponent. That's what she looks forward to do, and it's one of the reasons she's so successful. Once she had the timing figured out, now we come to the fun part. Andrade throws a kick, boom, and look at that. Shevchenko already had the timing of the kick figured out. She shoots in. Look how close her lead knee is to Andrade's knee. She drives forward. She gets that hook around her waist. She plants her left leg in front of Andrade's leg. Andrade's leg cannot go anywhere. Andrade tries to get a whizzer. Kind of has a little bit of head control, but she's off balance right now. The majority of her weight is on her, Andrade's weight is on her lean leg. So it's going towards the ground. Her head is towards the ground. Very simple from here. Shevchenko repositions her feet, boom, plants her on the back, and then look what she does here. See how she moves out? Andrade's trying to kind of push her out the way. Shevchenko moved out really nice and smoothly into nearly that crucifix position right away. But Andrade gets it back to her feet very quickly. But the point of this takedown is she timed it. She timed it according to Andrade's kick and according to Andrade's attack. Now right here, same thing. Shevchenko takes the back when they're on the feet. Andrade tries to start throwing elbows, and as soon as she whips herself out, look where her head is again. Head's out over her knees. Coach is always on me about this. He said keep your head in between your knees so you can keep your balance. Shevchenko's got her head pressing against Andrade's chest. Simple takedown. Boom. Again, Andrade's on her back. Andrade scrambles back to her feet. Now here's some defense from Shevchenko right here. Her back's against the cage. And look at the positioning she has right now. Right now, she's got an underhook and an overhook on Andrade. But look where her head is. Her head's right against Andrade's shoulder. She's pressuring that shoulder. And she's holding that position. She's got her hands clasped together. Her feet are spread apart. Andrade can't quite reach her knees. The leg positioning's pretty even, but Shevchenko has the advantage of the cage. She can lean against the cage, but she's using the cage as a brace. She's bracing forward so Andrade cannot go beyond this position because it's impossible for Shevchenko's legs to go back any further. So Andrade kind of leans in. She's got one arm hanging loose. Not much doing there. She goes to attack the body. Shevchenko takes nice and slow steps out to the side, and look at that. She's already starting to turn. Andrade keeps attacking the body. Shevchenko's, conditioning is good. She's relaxed. She's composed. Not using a whole lot of muscle. She goes a bit of a hip pop. Boom. Attempt to take down. Nothing there. But keeps pressuring. And eventually she gets it. So everything she does in the grappling department, for the most part, it's off of a counter. Even when she's shooting for offensive takedowns, she waits for the opponent to make the move first. Then she puts him on the back. And that's 3 takedowns inside of 1 round. Attempts the rear naked chokehold. Didn't quite get it. Now we move on to round 2. Oh, sorry, my bad. Before we go on to round 2, there's one more takedown she gets. Andrade gets back to her feet. And again, I really like this right here, what she did. As Andrade is escaping to her feet, look what Shevchenko does with her body positioning. Right now, she's hooked over Andrade's leg. She doesn't have complete control of Andrade, but she's hooked under her arm. Andrade can pop elbows from here, but look at Shevchenko's hand positioning. She's got that left hand under control. Elbows aren't coming here without Shevchenko feeling them coming first. And Andrade's right hand is flat on the ground. That means the majority of her weight is on her right side. So she doesn't have a lot of power coming from her left side. She gets her hands loose. Once Shevchenko lets go of Andrade's hand starts to come up. Look what she does. She grabs her own hand, makes sure she has body control. So she's got control of Andrade's body. Andrade's on her feet, but Shevchenko is glued to her. She's got complete control of her chest. A little bit of knees from there. You can see where her shoulder is. It's almost right up underneath Andrade's shoulder, so you can't really, again, throw many attacks from here. You can see if she lifts her elbow up, what does Shevchenko do? Follows her elbow right up to the top, keeping her shoulder pressed into Andrade's armpit. She's gluing that elbow to her forehead. She can't go back and forth with her arm here, safe from elbows. Andrade's on her feet, but she's not in control of her body weight. Shevchenko has her upper body control. Boom. Takedown again. She was already in position. Once they cleared from the fence, it was just a matter of time. And then, she steps on the outside, and she's already nearly in crucifix position right here. The bell comes in, the round comes up. Now we come out to the second round. Now, the first takedown she gets is still pretty much, very similar to the same one. She throws out a jab, keeps her face covered, takes a step back. Andrade throws a big old hook. Shevchenko shoots out another right hand, and Shevchenko's a southpaw. So this is, kind of a jab, but she throws it with a little bit of power. Andrade gets the overhook on Shevchenko and the underhook. Shevchenko gets an underhook. Andrade clamps down on it, and she uses her momentum to try to drive Shevchenko down. But the problem with that is her head is too far to the right. When you do something like this, you want to make sure you have the hook on. You want to have the complete control of the hook. But it's Shevchenko who had the overhook on the left side, so that's why that failed. Also, her foot positioning, she wasn't, quite deep enough in there to make that turn happen. But Shevchenko takes advantage of it, and she uses Andrade's momentum against her. She grabs her own hand, and now she has complete control of the upper body. Steps forward. Look where her left leg is. Left leg is right behind the thigh of Andrade. Twist her to the side. Boom. Textbook takedown. Now, there's a really interesting scramble right here. And remember at the end of the first round, Shevchenko was completely on the side. This time, we get a bird's eye shot, which is perfect. Andrade has that right leg of Shevchenko hooked up. So Andrade is taking in what's going on in the previous round. You know, she's remembering what happened. She's thinking, last time, she nearly had me. This time, I've got control of her leg. So Shevchenko, she's very patient in the clinch. A lot of the time, the crowd started booing, like when she fought Joanna, because there wasn't much action going on. But she wasn't burning up energy. She's not really stressing herself out. She's not wasting time. A couple of shoulder hits, try to get Andrade's position. And look what she does next. Let's move forward a little bit more. She starts attacking the body. Targeting the body of Andrade. As soon as that happens, boom. Once that punch lands, look what Andrade does. She lets go of Shevchenko's right leg. Now Shevchenko, when I saw this, I thought she would step out and move straight into crucifix position, but she doesn't do that. She underhooks the leg. And look, changes her hip position. At first, she was laying on the hips. Now, she elevates herself with her knee. Gets back a little bit closer. Keeps that hook on Andrade's head. Or around her neck, rather. A little bit attacking from the body, then she goes to attack the head. Now, right there is where the position changes. You can see Andrade's legs are opened up all the way, and Shevchenko is letting her leg out. And then Andrade gets back to her feet. Now, from here, Andrade drives Shevchenko to the cage. But look what control Shevchenko has. Shevchenko knew the position was lost, but she gets control of the head. Now, Andrade pushed her against the cage. Look how low Andrade's head is right here. Now, this is my favorite part. Shevchenko has control of Andrade's left arm. She doesn't have control of her head, no control of her upper body. Andrade is holding the position. She's got Shevchenko flat against the fence. Shevchenko is not able to move away from this. She's not in a bad position. She still has control of that right arm, so she's still glued to her. But she starts attacking the head. So what's Andrade do? She tries to pick up, nothing there. She lifts her head up, changes her head position, and moves her head to the left. But look what happened when she changes that position. Shevchenko grabs that bicep of her right arm. She can attack. And now she's got an overhook. And then she swaps to an underhook. Now she has control of the body. At first she had control of the shoulder. Now she has control of the body. She lets go with an overhook on the opposite side. Fights for an underhook. Look where her hand is. Right by Andrade's ear. Controlling the head. If you can control the head, you control the rest of the body. Create some space. Boom. Shoots up a quick knee. Still holding the overhook. Now look what she does. When she gets an overhook on one side, she goes for an underhook on the other. Making sure she maintains control. She timed it when Andrade pressures. Clapped her hands together. She knows she has full body control. Forward momentum. Boom. Same takedown that she did in the first round. Puts Andrade flat on her back. Patience and composure is what makes her so good. Now, when she lands, she's already in position to go straight to work. She doesn't have to worry about stepping her legs on the outside because her legs are already in position when they were on feet. She had it set up. And by the way, at this moment, just in case anybody's wondering, she tied the most takedowns inside of a fight for the flyweight division, female flyweight division. Now, I like what she does next. She walks away from the cage. She gets away from the cage because a lot of people can use the cage to escape from this position. She takes Andrade's hand, pushes it underneath, between her legs, gets clamped down, much like she did with Nunes, except this time, remember, this is to show the growth of Shevchenko. When she was fighting Nunes, she put her knee on top of the hand. This time, she puts it in between her legs to make sure she got a good clamp on it. She's got most of the weight on her chest. Now, I have not been in this position before. Became very close to being put in it, but I like putting people in this position myself. Because when you're sitting on somebody's chest, there's not much they can do. If you're just sitting there, they could pop up and explode out. But when you're sitting there and you've hooked both their arms up, wherever they pop, you're going to go with them because you're hooked to them. And from here, it's just ground and pound. Punches, elbows, opens up a cut, keeps going. Eventually, the ref stops the fight. Shevchenko's still champion. This is why she's so good, guys. It's the patience, it's the composure, and it's the positioning where she places her hands. Even when she's on defense, she makes sure she maintains control of her opponent's upper body. If she doesn't have control of the upper body, which rarely happens now, previously used to happen quite a bit, but she has grown so much as a grappler, and she literally uses countering every move the opponent makes. She gets the timing of her opponent, and then she breaks him down piece by piece. She's literally an actual fighter. She uses the rounds to her advantage. She's not trying to rush forward and hope she gets to win. She is calculating every second of the fight to ensure she gets the W. Now we come to her fight with Joanna. Now, Joanna was a very good testament as to how good Shevchenko got with her ground game and with her grappling. Because Joanna is known for her takedown defense. She's a volume striker. She's a stand-up striker. She likes to keep the fight on the feet. You know, she's not going to be shooting for double legs, single legs, or hip throws very often. Rose Namajunas, who was originally known for her grappling, she's become more well-rounded each and every time she steps into the cage. Had difficulty taking Joanna down. She was able to take her down the 5th round of their second fight, but Joanna was able to stop a lot of her takedowns before that when she fought Zhang Weili. And Zhang has taken down, I think, aside from Daniel Taylor and Jessica Andrade, she's taken down everybody else she's faced in all of her fights, aside from the one she TKO'd or KO'd. She knocked Andrade out, so takedown was really necessary there. But she had a hard time taking Joanna down. I think she took her down a couple times in their fight, but wasn't able to capitalize on it. In the second round, Joanna was really able to dominate her from the clinch, as well as in the grappling department. So this is a big step up for the competition Shevchenko was facing. And again, the same thing. She times it. Watch when Joanna, she doesn't initiate the clinch in this position. So we're back to timing. Here we go. Joanna throws a jab, steps in. Shevchenko throws what looks like to be a bit of a hook, which really is a check punch. Gets her hand wrapped around her, shoots her left arm in. Look at that, bicep control. Same thing every time. She's got a bit of a collar tie up top, more of an underhook. But she's going for it, bicep control, boom, straight to the takedown. Who else has done this to Joanna? And I know Joanna was moving up in this division, but Joanna's kind of big for 115. But she is known for her takedown defense. And it's not necessarily the size that's getting the job done. It's the skill and precision with which she's doing it. Takedown, fighting for that same side control, and look how she landed. Look at the position she's in. Look where her feet are. Look where her hands are. She got the hook around the head, and she got the overhook on the opposite side. Controlling the hand, controlling what's going on with the fight. Starts to drag her away from the cage. She can't get the cage to wall walk. Joanna fought this really hard and was able to try to get toward the cage, but when they go here she spins her away, so her feet are away from the cage. Constantly calculating what's going on. Joanna tries to climb up the cage, she turns her away from the cage, so she can't do it. So she's controlling what's going on because she's controlling the head. In wrestling, my coach would always tell us, he said, you got to control the head. If you can control the head, you're controlling where the fight's going. And it's the same with, pretty much all combat sports. It's a little more difficult to do in fencing. Now, Joanna does pretty good right here. She rolls down and she's able to get back to her feet. But even during this time, look at where Shevchenko's hands are. Boom. Knee. Still in control, still in control. Pressure against the cage. And then, for the most of it, this is why I said a lot of the crowd started to boo. But look what she has. She still has that top control. She has that under control. She's not receiving any damage from this position, and she's in position to throw knees against the opponent. So she's the one who's going to be doing the damage if there's any striking that's happening. She attempts a inside trip right here. I don't know really why she did that, because Joanna's back was to the cage, so I don't think that would have worked too well. Maybe she was trying to turn her away and drop her. But Joanna is able to use her advantage and spin around. So let's look at that. Throws a few knees from the inside. Now she's got an overhook on Joanna's left arm, and she's fighting for that underhook on the opposite side. Like I said, she always goes for that every single time. Wrestling's basic. Boom, pops up a knee. Joanna throws an elbow. They push back a little bit. Now she has her back to the cage again. See, now Joanna's kind of trying to scoot out. Probably trying to get that right leg in between so she could trip Shevchenko to escape. But Shevchenko keeps her position still, keeps the pressure forward. Look what she's doing with her head. She's constantly pushing her head against Joanna's head, fighting for that control constantly. Now Joanna tries cross-facing. She went to the opposite hand. I don't know why she did that. That allowed Shevchenko to lift her arms up, gets better control of the upper body. Tried for a trip again. Didn't quite get it. Joanna defended very well. Bit of a struggle. But the point is, Joanna's struggling to defend in this position, and Shevchenko is working towards a takedown. And the difference between struggling is this: if you're struggling, you're still fighting. You haven't necessarily lost, but you're on the defense. So you're on the back foot mentally as well. It may not look like they're doing much here, but this is some good clinch work. Mentally, she's on the back foot, and literally she's on the back foot because she's defending against an attack coming, and, she hasn't set up a counter for it or an answer for it. Shevchenko is working towards a takedown, and she's doing all the right steps. So the work rate is being successful because now she has better control than she did in the previous position. Again, she tries for the hands. Joanna does. She tries to get off, powers up with her knee, almost a very similar sequence. Her knee just comes up twice this time because she got a bit of a step in there. More struggling. And Shevchenko is using her weight a lot in this position because she knows the cage is behind. So she's probably not burning as much energy as people would think. But, you know, this is actually really good. Eventually, Shevchenko throws a punch, and Joanna gets away. Now, this is the end of the first round of their fight, by the way. After they get off the cage, there's space created between them, and Shevchenko still sticks with it. She still sticks to seek to grapple with her. Joanna takes a step forward, throws a kick. Shevchenko catches the kick because she already had the timing figured out. Look at that. Going for a high single. Attempts to trip, misses it there, and the ref stops him. That's the end of the round. Now, I don't like saying what ifs too much for a fight, but, you know, if there's time left in this, I see Shevchenko getting the takedown. She had very good control. Let's move on to the next round. Now, the majority of this fight was, like I said, pretty much very, very similar takedowns. Here, again, this is the second round. Joanna throws a kick. Shevchenko catches the kick with her left hand, pushes her head away. Look what she's doing. She's pushing her head in the opposite direction of where the kick is going. Now, Joanna does hook around Shevchenko's head. She's going to go with her. That's okay. She's going for a takedown. Let's go of the kick. Pushes the head down. But look what Joanna does. Postures up with that hand. But look what Shevchenko does with the opposite hand. Hooks behind her body. Getting control of the upper body. Boom. They land on the ground. Throws a few punches. Not much doing there. But this is still very, very good clinch work from Shevchenko. Joanna back in the defensive position. Boom. Gets the takedown. And this time, if you notice in the first round, she was kind of going for a trip. Kept on trying to go for the trip. And it wasn't working. So this time, when she gets both hands hooked behind the body, instead of tripping, look how close her head is. Her head's dug straight in there to her neck. Uses the momentum because Joanna kept that left leg up to try to defend it. That means, where's all the weight of her body? All the weight's on her right leg. Spin to the left. Boom. Take down to the back. And then straight away goes to scoot to the side control to get her away from the cage. Here we are later on in the fight, once again. This time, Shevchenko's got her back to the cage, and Joanna's standing closer to the center of the cage, not directly in the center. You got the black lines in between them. Takes a step forward. Joanna throws that kick to the body. Shevchenko catches it. It's almost natural. She knows the kick's coming. She catches it. Boom. Steps forward. Kicks out the leg of Joanna. This is one thing I learned about when I was studying wrestling. I read a book on it recently. You throw kicks in wrestling. Now, you're not necessarily throwing roundhouse kicks, but they call it kicking. They tell you when you have control of one leg, you kick out the other. And this is what she does. Kicks out that leg. Joanna is able to maintain control of her leg, though. Doesn't quite get on the ground. Boom. But eventually she gets the takedown, and here's why. Remember that head positioning I was talking about? She keeps that right arm hooked on the leg. Gets it really, really high. The higher it is, the more off balance you are towards your opponent. When the leg kick failed, she gets a hook, collar tie right behind Joanna's neck on her right side. Pulls it down, head's going towards the ground. She just keeps lifting that leg up. Where the head goes, the body follows. Take down again. Look, once again, same position. Same position. The only difference I feel here as to why she didn't TKO her is because Joanna was turning her hips opposite of Shevchenko. She wasn't flat on her back. Andrade was kind of flat on her back. But Joanna kept on using her feet. You know, she was really fighting to get out of this position the entire time. Also, she's really good at hand fighting. I think Joanna's a bit underrated for her hand fighting and even takedown defense. Even though Shevchenko was able to land 5 takedowns in this fight, a lot of the time was spent with Shevchenko pressuring Joanna against the cage when they were on the feet. There wasn't a whole lot of damage done when they were on the ground. She did land some good shots, but most of the damage was done when they were on the feet. A lot of people argue that she didn't outstrike her. I watched the fight. I'll break the whole fight down for you in the future maybe, but she was getting the better of the striking exchanges as well. And so that's pretty much how she gets the job done. She does everything off of a counter. And I wanted to show this one because this one was a fight that she didn't finish. You know, she didn't finish her opponent in this fight, but it still shows how skilled she is inside of those clinch positions.